Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, a historic version of the game where world generation was erratic, unpredictable, but amazing nevertheless, where being hit still felt impactful as the sound effect rang each and every time. The smooth fog emitted a feeling of comfortable solitude as it veiled the unknown and confined each being within the radius of it. And most of all, the caverns and crevices were at their absolute peak in my mind, plain, unornamented, one-dimensional. It's now been 13 years since the release of this pristine version of Minecraft, and as time has gone on, we have only strayed farther and farther away from it. In some ways, that's a good thing, but in most manners, I just wish everything stayed the way it was. Minecon 2019 marked the first moment I started to feel this way, as this was when the Nether update was first announced, promising new Nether mobs, biomes, and a brand new, better than Diamond Ingot, Netherite. Then came Minecraft Live 2020, the announcement of an overhaul to the cave systems we have grown to become so acquainted with. Both caves and cliffs in the Nether update were highly received by the community and now regarded by most as the greatest updates to ever come to the game, but I could never come around to them as much as I could the game we already had.
You know, I was always the kid that would go on YouTube and look up like the concept videos of people like making armor sets and tools and stuff that they thought would be cool additions to the game. And of course, just like everyone else, I was super into the whole modding thing, and I would play myself, I would watch others play and see all the new gear that they would unlock. So when I saw Netherite was coming out, I mean, I was all for that. I was on it. And I did kind of enjoy the update, but over time, I've grown to dislike it more and more. See, since Netherite knocked out Diamond as the most valuable gem in the game, Diamond has become somewhat useless. I remember the days where diamonds were the hottest commodity, where they were extremely sought after, and finding diamonds was only comparable to the feeling of waking up on Christmas morning. But now, when I find diamonds, I don't get that feeling anymore. I save most of the gear and the tools I make with it for netherite upgrades, and I mean, of course I make enchantment tables and a jukebox every once in a while, but that's about as far as it goes nowadays. I mean, of course it's a better upgrade than iron or gold, but I feel it's more of a stepping stone nowadays than, you know, what you shoot to go out and get. You really only get diamond to make that enchantment table and save it for netherite on top of that. Which makes mining in the overworld a little lackluster now. I don't get that feeling like I do in the nether mining nowadays. Not to mention, now you can find it as often as gold or iron if you get deep enough. I mean, I'll mine and I'll find 15, 20, 30 veins of it. It's to the point now where I always have too much diamond that I don't know what to do with. Which has also helped to take away that Christmas joy feeling I used to get while mining above ground. And also, I mean, you can find infinite diamonds while mining in any cave that you're in, I mean, vein after vein, but you could also go mining for however long you want now. Caves are infinite. You could find diamonds all day long. It's not like there's even a limit to it. I mean, there's no limit to caves, so there is no limit to diamond. It's not like how netherite is now anymore. It's not like how it used to be. And that's simply because caves are now too complex. See, with the old caves, there were dead ends. You could walk down a hallway per se and reach just a wall of stone and force yourself to turn around again. And then you would walk down another path and reach another dead end, and it would just be that looping cycle until you explored all of the cave and had to go back above ground and move on. You can't do that anymore. Caves seem to have no end. I liked the old caves because I could progress through them and I could reach an end. I could mine every ore in a cave and then leave and feel satisfied. There's zero satisfaction with mining anymore. I mean, of course with the diamond point that I made, and also because you just can't, there is no end. There aren't dead ends. You will never stop mining if you keep going. If you keep going, you have to tell yourself when to stop rather than the cave telling you for you. It used to leave a good balance to where I wasn't mining for too long, or I wasn't building for too long, or I wasn't doing any which thing for too long. On top of the never-ending thing, I feel like they're just too big in some points too. I mean, I get that's the update, but I don't particularly like that. I don't like seeing an ore 50 to 75 blocks up and having to build up every single time just to get 4 pieces of it and then going right back down and doing it again when I see another one. I don't enjoy that, and I don't know how anyone does, or if anyone does. With the addition of those massive caves also came different kinds of them too. Dripstone, lush, deep dark. And while dripstone and deep dark are okay in their own manners, I think the lush really, I don't know, throws me off. What used to happen in the old caves is you would place torches where you've been so you know not to go back there again. And because the caves are so big nowadays, of course you can't really do that. You don't stumble across where you've been before most of the time. But especially in these lush caves, it's so bright in them, you don't even need torches. Not to mention, you know, mod packs exist nowadays to get rid of the darkness of Minecraft, or you could just pump up the brightness to a point where you don't need torches. Or you could just download a texture pack to get rid of the darkness of the game. And torches have become useless in their own manner, not just because of, you know, the lush cave, but also because there's no reason to use them in the caves anymore. They used to be this way to traverse, and now they're just used to get rid of mobs spawning. I don't blame that as much on the new update, but I thought that, you know, torches did gain a little bit less of a use when the new update came. All of which I've listed, though, gives you the reason why I believe caves are too complex, and the word complex shouldn't be associated with Minecraft at all. You have to understand why Minecraft even got popular in the first place. It was because it was an open world, open roaming, freedom-given game that you could do anything in, but had nothing to do at all in it, really. The game mainly left it up to you to find things to do, to be creative. It didn't just throw a jumble of content at you. It gave you a lot less to work with, and because you had a lot less to work with, you had to use what you had wisely. Minecraft used to be boring, but in a good way. That's why, right now, and if you're not aware of it, so many people are going back to this exact version that I'm playing. There's a whole trend going on where people are taking a trip back to Minecraft beta, and not only taking a trip back, but staying. Proving that it's not a nostalgia thing, it's just because it was a better game. I mean, people who didn't even play that version of the game are now going back as well to try it and saying that it is better than what we have today. And there's a reason for that. Minecraft was better just being a simple game. A game with nothing to do in it, but everything to do. And I get it. When it comes to games, they need content updates to stay alive. And of course, Minecraft definitely would have died if nothing was ever added to it. But I believe if it was going to die, it should have. It already made its mark. It already made a huge dent in the industry. Minecraft changed gaming forever, and that's not because of anything besides the fact that it brought what other games were not bringing at the time: simplicity to gaming. Back then, around that time, you had Call of Duties and you had fast-paced, all in your face, all content all the time. And Minecraft chose to take the exact opposite approach. It's sort of like how the cozy game genre is taking today, like Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing. Those games are in their own league, and not because they're providing anything crazy, but because they're providing what everyone else is not choosing to. Distance away from all the competition, the live service, and the massive content updates. When Minecraft started being everyone else is when we started losing it. Which is why it should have been just cut off way back then. When it was peaking, when it looked like this, when the caves were simple. And I don't blame that completely on Mojang. I mean, I blame that more on the fact that Bedrock Edition happened and Microsoft acquired Mojang. And with the acquisition of Mojang by Microsoft, a lot of the old creators of Minecraft, the original people who worked on it, including Notch, which many of you may know and may be aware of, or you may not be, but he was the original creator. He was the person who made Minecraft to begin with. As soon as Microsoft acquired Mojang, he left, and everyone else beside him that originally worked on the game left, losing the original vision, and the people who made the original vision come to be. But Notch didn't just leave because Microsoft was coming in to take over. It was because he made this game that was so loved by everyone at one point, and he was so stressed to improve it and make it better and meet up to expectations of people. And the community was complaining. They were complaining a lot back then. I mean, so much for new content to be added. Because gaming itself was changing back then, changing into what it is today. People always wanting more. Games dying off quicker than ever because people can't stick around to wait for an update for a few months. It has to be within days or even a week or two of release, or they give up on it. And the need for more content always made it more of a painful job instead of a fun project for Notch and many of the other creators that had this vision, that wanted to reach their goals in their own heads. And that's what made them ultimately give up on the game and let someone else take it over. Leaving what they made and what they worked so hard on and what they loved so dearly in the past to just be that memory that they smile upon every time they think about it. When the creators of the game and the people who had so much love for it quit, it should have been quit by everyone in general and left in the state that it was in, because it was in a good state back then. It just took these new updates and the evolution in Microsoft to make us understand and realize that. So in a way, it's a good thing that Microsoft acquired it and took it in this route, because we wouldn't be able to appreciate what Minecraft really was back then without all of that happening. But even if we didn't develop that appreciation now, we would still all, and I'm speaking for everyone here, look back upon those times in our lives more highly than pretty much everything else. A time when diamonds were at the top of the food chain, torches were useful, and caves had an end. A simpler time, a more intact time, our childhood. As I said, the more time goes on, the farther we get from that time, and maybe that's just how it's supposed to be. So we appreciate it more. It might just be, instead of complaining about updates or the lack thereof, time to hang up the game and leave it as just a memory ourselves. Or, at the bare minimum, just go back to when you enjoyed the game so much, because it's not just nostalgia, it's genuinely just better. Now is a greater time than ever to do so as well, while Microsoft does what they do and Bedrock continues. Maybe whip out that old 360 from storage, find your old iPod, or boot up beta 1.7.3 for yourself. And with that I say, thank you for watching. You matter, and I appreciate each and every one of you more than I could ever put to words. Every day, you are making my dreams come more and more true. And if you're not a regular here, consider sticking around for the ride as well. Alright, have a blessed day, and if you don't happen to see me again, have a blessed rest of your life. I hope to see you again soon.